What is up, you guys? Glitches here, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be bringing you a quick and easy guide on how to kill the new corrupted fell dragon boss in the new update in Enshrouded. I haven't seen a single video on YouTube going over how to beat this boss. It can be really tricky if you're trying to beat it normally. However, I found a nice little gimmick, if you will, to make this fight super easy, and you almost take no damage whatsoever. I will preface this by saying that all of my settings are set to default, so you don't have to worry about me having any bonus damage multipliers. This is going to be normal 100% boss damage, normal 100% damage for myself, so it's going to be straight up how you would normally play, and some may think it's gimmicky, some may not, but it does make this fight way easier. I will also be making all my builds strong enough to where you can beat this boss straight up. If you want to do the actual mechanics the way they're normally meant to, this is a little bit of a workaround. My mage build is almost there. I have beat the boss normally once already. As you can see, we've got all three of the new corrupted dragon boss mantle heads on the wall, looking really cool. They're massive, but if you're a builder, things like that, and you just want to quickly kill this boss very easily just to unlock the new cosmetics and upgrade your final altar to the highest flame level in order to progress the final northern area of the map. This little trick that I'm about to show off is going to make this fight super easy for you. The other thing I will mention is warriors. Unfortunately, you have it the worst off this time around. Ideally, almost all of my warrior builds that I make have some sort of range built into it as well, specifically for flyers. You will ideally want to have either a bow or a staff to pull off this trick. With a staff, I would bring one or two of them just in case for durability. You should be able to get away with just one because you only need to go through, at least for staffs, about 100 to 200 level 4 fireballs. If you're using the bow and arrow, I would bring 750 to 1,000 of the highest level arrows that you can craft, preferably poison arrows, because that will do a little bit more damage. And if you're a ranger with upgrades to flying enemies, that'll make it even easier and make it go a little bit quicker. Technically, you don't even have to be max level or have fully upgraded stuff in order to do this. If you do, though, it'll just make this basically farming method a little bit quicker. If you're a warrior, I would recommend either getting a staff with the chain lightning spell unlocked or upgrade a bow to have those arrows as well, because without range, the only way that you're going to be able to stun the boss to get bonus damage is if you parry the fireballs, which happen like every 1 to 2 attack cycles, and if you miss one, you can take a lot of damage and potentially mess up the stun. The stun arrows and the chain lightning spell, the new eternal chain lightning spell, are by far the quickest and easiest way to stun the boss. If you want to get the bonus damage, technically you actually don't have to stun the boss at all. It'll just take longer, because the way this boss actually works is if you do normal damage to the boss, like just for example, a level 4 fireball spell, normally when you first start out will do about 500 to 600 damage. But every time that you stun the boss and down him, you get a nice 10 to 15 second damage window, but he will actually take 40 to 50% more damage every time that you stun him after you get the stun in. So what I like to do is, at least for a mage, is I use the new Eternal Chain Lightning spell to get at least one stun off. That will increase my magic damage for the rest of the fight by like another 40 to 50%. And those same fireballs that were only doing 5 to 600 damage will now start doing 12 to 1600 damage every hit. So it'll just speed up the farm a little bit more. And if you have that Eternal Chain Lightning spell, it just makes it super easy to stun the boss, and you can get that first damage boost really quickly. Ideally, to make this go a little bit faster as well, you would want to boost with any food items you have. I'm a mage. I could stack even more intelligence, but I like to bring the max level mushroom soup. That'll give me bonus intelligence. And then I also pop the frenzied potion and the let me double check the name, the Prayer of the Flame Scroll. That'll give another 20% magic damage boost. Frenzied is just a 30% bonus damage multiplier for 30 minutes. So both of these will give you a nice jump to damage as well. So I make sure to pop those to make sure this technique goes a little bit more smoothly. But without any further ado, let's jump over to the boss and I'll show you guys the mechanic, and see you guys there in a second. All right, you guys. So here we are at the top of the peak, getting ready to fight the dragon boss. Obviously, before you start the fight, you're going to want to pop all of your food items and potions to make sure you have the most magic and or attack possible. So let's go ahead and equip that. We'll go ahead and equip our frenzy potion and our prayer of the flame scroll. So now we know we have max damage. And then we can also quickly heal up here. That Eternal Chain Heal spell comes in handy. And the main things we're going to be using, at least as a mage, is the fireball. If we're using the bow and arrow for the warrior or the hunter, I would use the steel arrows or poisoned arrows, about 1,000 or so of each. If you're using the fireball with this technique, you'll need about 1 or 200. It does a lot more damage. But before we get into the fight, the few things I want to point out is the cliff that we're actually going to be gliding to do this gimmick is that big snowy patch right there on the mountain. As soon as you get to the center ring of the arena, you can actually glide outside the arena onto that nearby mountain. And from there, the only attack that the dragon can hit you with is his little pushback breath attack. And because we have a mountain cliff behind us, it will push us right into the wall, and you don't have to really worry about getting knocked off at all. Any of his flaming boulder attacks or his laser beam attack can't reach you, so you're pretty much free to hit him as much as you want and just bombard him with arrows and fireballs from a distance. Now, the thing I want to point out is a normal level 4 fireball, for example, if you just hit him right away in the beginning of the match, is only going to do between 500 and 600 damage. But how the fight works actually is if you can get a stun off on the boss, the second you get that first stun off, he will start taking 40 to 50% more damage from then on for the rest of the fight. So what I like to do is I have my Eternal Chain Lightning spell. If you're a warrior or a hunter, you would have your stun arrows and have that at the ready. And then as soon as you start the fight, you just immediately want to spam as many stun attacks as possible. Get that first stun on the dragon. You may have to pop a few health and mana potions to just get out of a risky situation in the beginning. But once you get that first stun off, then you're going to get that huge boost in bonus damage. And then I would recommend gliding over to cliff to just make the farm go a little bit more quickly. But like I said, you don't technically have to do that. If you have farmed up enough spells or enough arrows and don't want to deal with the stun mechanic at all, you can immediately glide over to that little cliff and just start bombarding them right away and not worry about it. It's just going to take like twice as long because you're going to be doing half the amount of damage. But for me, because the build that I have is pretty good, I like to try and get that first stun off, get a couple wand in hits to get his health a little bit lower. Then I glide over to the cliff and start the gimmick. So let's go over and do that now. All of our potions and stuff are intact. Our health is up. We're ready to go. We got our chain lightning ready. Again, for you warriors and hunters, it would be the stun arrows. But let's glide on over and start the fight. And our first order of business is, again, just getting a bunch of those stagger stun hits off to increase his stun meter. And then once he topples over for the first time, we'll be able to start doing a ton more damage. So as soon as he comes down, start spamming him with the stun spell. You can see his stagger bars already filling up pretty quick here. He's doing his little meteor attack. He can just jump left or right. Glide out of the way if you want. Might take a little bit of burn damage here. That's okay. Just pop a little potion. Keep hitting him. Keep rotating. Don't worry. You should be able to pop a potion. You'll be fine. Now he's fighting in the opposite direction, so we've got plenty of time to burn him down. One more should do it. There he goes. We got the stun. Swap to your wand. Get a couple hits in. You do a ton of damage with a wand. In this case, it would be with your melee weapon, things like that. The other thing to take in consideration is as soon as you stun him for the first time, a bunch of whelplings are going to spawn. I like to leave them alone in the beginning until I get to my little farm spot. So we get our stamina. We glide up. And you want to aim for this little crack right here. He actually give us a little boost with his breath attack. And then you're just going to jump right up to this little platform. And then with your wand or your arrows, just burn down these little whelplings real quick. And then once the whelplings are down, you're pretty much good to go. You don't have to worry about the boss at all anymore. He doesn't really hurt you. None of his damaging attacks can actually hit you from here. And it becomes pretty easy from here on out. So as a wizard, I'm going to be using my level 4 fireballs to switch back to our staff. And like I mentioned before, those fireballs were only doing 500 to 600 damage. But from here, now that we stunned him once, you'll notice that we're doing 11,000, 17,000, 15,000. So once he gets that first stagger in, your fireballs and your arrows are going to start doing a ton more damage. There's the breath attack. It'll just knock you a little bit back. All you got to do is do a quick little double jump, get right back into position, and then you can just continue to bombard him, and this is literally all you do for the rest of the fight. Just jump back in whenever he does his breath attack, and then once you get back into position, just spam your arrows, spam your fireballs, and because we have that 40 to 50% damage boost, his health just starts dropping like crazy, and you pretty much finish the fight this way. So I'll probably fast forward until we get to the end here. He's dropping pretty quick. And this is, by the way, with no damage multipliers. The boss's health is at 100%. All the settings are at 100%. So with the proper build, the proper level spells from farming them in the Hollowed Halls area that I made the video for, you can take this boss down super quick with this method. It makes it really, really easy. I know a lot of people were struggling with it, but after figuring out this little technique, the boss becomes a piece of cake. There's a little breath attack, but because we're in front of the mountain, it doesn't do anything. Just sit there, keep spamming your fireballs, keep spamming your arrows. The Long Wolf Snarl Longbow would be good because you get more damage at range with that one for single targets, so that could be a good bow to use if you find that in a legendary. But I'm using the Clearwater Staff just because that's the highest DPS wand in the, or staff rather, in the game right now, in my opinion. At level 40, at least for wizards. You could use the Blackened Staff if you want to run more spell critical strike chance. That's a good one. And then for the wand, I just use the Mythical Wand. But there you go. Boss is already dead. We burned him down just in a matter of minutes, and then you would just glide back over. You can land right on his body if you want, and jump up on top of him. And that is how you would loot your ammunition. He's pretty much a guaranteed legendary drop from him at level 40 every time you kill him as well. You get the 2 heads per kill, which you can use to build your mounts for your base. And then if you build the altar where I put it, you can just do the reset glitch like I do, and it'll spawn you right back at your altar because you can't teleport when you're on this little battle arena. It's considered the Shroud. So you got to build your altar back at the earlier entrance. But with the altar there, you can literally just respawn at it and keep farming him over and over and over again. If you have the food buffs on, you should be able to kill him multiple times before a food buff ends. It gives you 30 to 40 minutes with some of those, so you can get all the kills you need with just one food item if you manage to stay alive. So a really good spot to put that down there. But once you get all the kills you need, you can teleport back to base and build your mounts. Let's go and show them off just for shits and gigs here, because they look really, really cool. Meet you back at the base. And there you go. Here is what the 3 new massive mounts. We're building up our collection of mantles here. I just need to kill a few more of the fell cyclopses, but we got all the new corrupted beast mounts on the wall. Textures are still loading in here. Give them a second. But they look super cool when they're on display. For those of you that don't know, you get all of your mounts from the Hunter NPC. Just go over to Comfort, and this is where you'll be able to start crafting all those. You just need 5 Fell Dragon Youngling heads for the Platinum one, 3 for the Bronze one, and 1 for the normal one. So make sure you're going to need 5, 6, 7, 8 total to do all 3 mounts, and then you're going to want to have 1 extra one for your flame altar, because the final tier of the flame altar, if we want to strengthen the flame, requires 1 youngling head as well. So make sure you have 1 extra for that, and that will get you to the max level 8 for your flame. But yeah, that is the mounts. That is the cool, easy method of taking out the new corrupted beast dragon. Hopefully it helped you guys out and made that fight a little bit more easy for you. If it did, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. I appreciate all of your guys' feedback. Also, if you want to keep up to date on my future content, consider subscribing and turn on that notification bell. Like I mentioned previously, I have new updated builds coming for all the major classes, so keep an eye out for those. But last but not least, if you want to join a killer community of like-minded gamers, feel free to check the links down in the description and join us on the Discord. We've got over 1,000 members in there now, many of which are playing Enshrouded. So hopefully you jump in and we see you guys around here soon. But until the next one, hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you all later.